Welcome to the interview. I'm glad you could make it in today. How you doing? So let's start off the interview by learning a little bit more about you. Tell me a little bit about your background, personally and professionally. Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. All right. Good. Very good. So, did you drive in or did you take a cab? Okay. Do you live quite far from here or local? Okay. Good, good. All right. Tell me a little bit about why you are applying for this position. Why do you want this position, and why do you think you will be a great fit for it? Okay, I'm listening. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Good. Good. So, have you got any project management certifications? And if so, can you give us a brief rundown of which project management certifications you have? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about projects. Discuss your perfect project, if you will. Tell me a little bit about what a perfect project would look like to you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Got it. Got it. Thank you. All right. So the next thing I would like you to explain to us is key steps you would take to lead a company wide change management initiative. As you know, this job is centered on projects, and as you know, projects drive change. So, give me a brief rundown for the benefit of the other members of the panel how you would embark on a company wide change management initiative. Can take about a couple of minutes, that will be appreciated. Okay? Mm hmm. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm listening. Okay. Anything else along the lines of change? Okay. Because you do know that this, like I said, this position, it has a lot of change management at the heart of it. So what you're sharing with us is helpful. Okay. Okay. All right. My next question is, are you a leader or are you a follower? Can you explain the reason for your decision? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Explain what makes you a great leader. Okay. Good. Explain to me what are the essential traits of an effective leader. Okay. I'm listening. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Describe to me a scenario in which you had to discipline a subordinate on the job. All right. Tell me a little bit about what you know about this company. In other words, what do you know about this company? Just explain to us. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Explain to us where you see yourself in the next 5 years if you are employed in this company. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. All right. The next question we have here revolves around your current employer. Why are you leaving your current employer? And if we are your current employer, explain to us why you are leaving your current position. Okay. All right. Is there someone you are currently working with that may replace you in your current job? Are you involved in any job shadowing at the moment in your current position? Or is it not known right now that you intend leaving? Okay. Okay. All right. Have you ever worked in this particular industry before? Or are you new to this industry? Tell me a little bit about your background with regards to this particular industry. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Thank you. So, there's a little bit of history in this organization. We've had a lot of trouble with projects. Projects often go off track. Can you explain to us how do you know that a project has gone off track or is going off track? And the next question after that is how do you recover from going off track on a project? Okay. 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 So, from the projects that you've seen, that you've managed, what is the most frequent reason for projects going off track amongst the projects that you've directly managed? Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So, tell me, what is the height of the White House in the United States of America? Or, if you would rather tell me the height of Buckingham Palace instead, please do that. It doesn't matter if it's in feet or inches, just a rough guess if you don't know the exact number. Okay. Okay. Good. You can look it up afterwards. You'll be pleasantly surprised at your response. What's the biggest mistake that you've made on one of the most recent projects that you've managed for your current employer? Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So you do know that this particular job will require a lot of project management software. Share with me how you would cope with multiple software applications to learn within a couple of weeks to a month, especially when you have not known about these tools prior. Yes, how comfortable will you be and how would you handle that? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Okay. So tell us a little bit about how you would manage a team that is oftentimes in conflict over technical decisions. Okay. All right. Very good. We just got a couple more questions and we'll be done. Tell us about one trait that you think is a disadvantage to you as a project manager. Just one. Is that really a disadvantage? Is it? Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. Last question. If we offered you this job, how soon will you be able to start? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. We've got all the information, all the data that we need. We'll get back to you as soon as we've got anything to share. Thank you very much. Well, that was an interesting interview. You see, these interviews are not conducted with the aim of getting every single piece of detail that is asked. More than anything else, a lot of these interviews, for the most part, are first of all behavioral. So the first few interviews that you're invited for, they already see that you're qualified in some way to be a candidate. So that isn't exactly what they're looking for. But what they're looking for in a lot of these interviews is how quickly, how eloquently you can think, you can state what you already know, and how convincing you will be if placed in front of a stakeholder or client. So it's not necessarily to glean data, even though that is one of the things that could come out of an interview. They could find out that the person in the interview was not a great fit, or they could find out additional information about you working for a competitor or a conflict of interest or something else. But for the most part, a lot of it is behavioral. A lot of it has to do with them buying into you. John Maxwell has a quote: people buy into the leader first and then the vision. People buy into you as a person first, and then as a potential employee, and then eventually an employee. And that's why, right out of the gate, some people won't make it to the second interview, because just looking at what they exude fear, they do not exude confidence, or they exude arrogance, or they do not have the right balance for the job. They come across as being a little bit too overbearing, a little bit too braggadocious, a little bit too much, a bit too overbearing. Some people come across as being timid, not enough firepower to deal with clients that are draconian in some way. Some organizations know that their clients are lions and tigers, sharks, and they don't want to put Mickey Mouse in front of those clients. They want someone who is right up to par, right on that level with those stakeholders. So you need to know the job you're applying for and what exactly is required of you. Some instances, it's the entire firepower. Other times, you got to hold back. In addition to that, the resume and how it comes across could be a little bit intimidating sometimes to other members on a panel. So balance is really what is required. More than anything else, if you're going for an interview, I would advise you to study body language for a little bit. Look for nonverbal cues in whoever is interviewing you. Have you ever been in an interview where you see a big frown on the interviewer's face? I have. And I immediately knew I was losing out on something. I was missing something. I couldn't quite figure out what it was. Interview over, no job. Other times I've been for an interview and I've seen a smirk on the face of the individuals interviewing me. And now, looking back, I know why there was a smirk on those faces. It was because I was talking rubbish, absolute nonsense. Because back then, I didn't know as much as I know now. I thought I knew and I didn't. And I was just flunking the interview miserably. When you don't know the answer to a question, especially when it's a very direct question, not like the one I asked about the height of the White House and Buckingham Palace, but when it's a different type of question where you either know it or you don't come across as knowing something when you don't. Okay? Especially when it's one of those questions that's very direct, very plain, because no one wants to entrust their company to someone who is making stuff up, fluffing. There's a difference between creatively answering a question versus being flat out wrong. If you don't know an acronym, be honest, you don't know the acronym. If you don't know a formula, you don't know it. If you don't know a concept, you don't know it. That's okay. You may not be dinged on that. It's better to come across as being honest than to come across as being a fluff and a bluffer. Okay? I hope this has helped those of you who have been taking this little interview to practice. I hope this gives you an idea of what to do. You don't find a lot of virtual interviews on project management, and possibly this is your first one. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to send this link to a friend if you have enjoyed this, you found it to be useful, challenging for your next interview. Please hit like, subscribe, and let other project managers know about this video. Thank you very much. You got any ideas of any other videos you would like to see along these lines of professional development, interviews, and so on? Please let us know. Thank you very much. All the best on your interview. Remember, it's all about the preparation. Study the company, research the company, prepare like there's no tomorrow, do your research well, and go through this again and again until you get to the point where even those little interjections I was throwing in, really to throw you off, but you may not have known, but those were really to throw you off, because a lot worse could happen on an interview. You could be abruptly stopped, and that could also be a test to see how you cope with problems and difficulty. All the very best, and bye for now.